You know the old cliche to expect the unexpected? It's something that speaks to surprises in life, and in this case, we can turn our attention to a rather pleasant surprise found along the western coastline of the inland sea known as Lake Superior, where beach life, the great outdoors, and a beautiful industrial aesthetic all converge in one place, Duluth, Minnesota. The American Midwest isn't a part of the world that is particularly high up on many mountain bikers' bucket lists, but here I am in Duluth, surprised both by the coastal beauty of this place and by the brilliant trails throughout town. And I'm also surprised by the unbridled passion so many locals have for mountain biking.
My name is Dee Bartlum. I'm a registered nurse by trade.
My name is Adam Sundberg and I'm a chiropractor.
So my name is Hansi Johnson, Hansi-Johnson. Hansi Johnson. What I do for a living is not one of those easy to describe things, but basically I'm an advocate for outdoor recreation in Duluth and Minnesota as a whole.
I came up to Duluth because I grew up just like 45 minutes north of Duluth. I actually grew up in a state park. I kind of grew up in the woods, and so being part of the North Woods and Lake Superior, where I had an attachment there, and I didn't really realize how strong of an attachment it was until I actually came back and settled and kind of got connected with it.
The Duluth that I grew up visiting as a child was very gray and rainy and bleak. So meeting my husband here in Duluth, coming back here and living close to his family was what motivated our decision to move back here. And we've just been it's like we got a bonus Duluth sticking it out because it's morphed into this amazing recreational place.
So I was really lucky at a young age that I had parents who traveled a lot. So I had traveled to all different parts of the world by the time I was in high school. I say that because I was able to kind of see what was out there, and I kept coming back to this fact that Duluth was this small town, roughly, right, 100,000 people, where a little bit of everything I like to do as an outdoors person was here, and the access was pretty much unlimited, and there were no people. Being outside isn't, we always call it recreation, but to me personally, it's a practice. I have to go outside every day. It's not a question. The only time I'm not going outside is when I'm either so wrapped up in family stuff that I can't do it, or I'm just down sick.
I feel like it's unique. It's not anywhere USA. There's a little bit of grit to it. There's a little bit of a DIY feel to it. Like if you're like a powder skier and you want to ski powder as many days as you possibly can in your life, Duluth is not the place to be. But if you want to do something fun outside every day and have it almost be like a surprise of what that's going to be, Duluth is really good.
I never wondered what they really are. Oh, it doesn't matter to me, baby. I just wanna live right. You know that I can be the shining light of your life. If you come to me close, we got the cable to outside. It's taken years to open, but lately I've been closed up tight. I'm closed up tight. Mind is aching as I look into the dark. My hands are shaking. Will they make them all? Come on, come on, come on. You gotta be something else. It's better if you tell yourself that you will never be alone. If you come to me close, we got the cable to outside. It's taken years to open, but lately I've been closed up tight. I'm closed up tight. And I wanna tell you it's alright, but baby there's more inside. So come on, let's
When I
dive.
do think about it, I realize that the mountain bike and that idea of riding it has changed over time for me. You know, like it's not, there is not just one thing, right? Like as a kid, when I first got into it, it was the idea of exploration and adrenaline, right? And then later in life, you know, it was more of that exploratory thing times 10, you know, going to Iceland and spending the summer there and riding all over the island and just realize what kind of access this thing gave me.
Mountain biking does so much for people. It can be exercise, it can be therapy, it can just be decompression after a long day at work. It is so many different things to so many different people, and it might be all of those, or maybe just one or two of those. So that's why I'm passionate about it, because it fulfills all those things in me, plus being able to share that with others.
You know, from a purely recreational point of view, I feel like it's a really good combination of I like being an active physical person, and then I also grew up in a state park, and so I just had hundreds of acres of natural space around me to explore and just dwell in.
I think the switch, I've always loved biking. I've always loved being outside and that freedom that you feel with biking, whether it be road biking or out on a trail and just getting into this flow. That was very, very personal to me. That's what the driving force was. And then it became something that I got good at, something that I could share. I then had a purpose in sharing this because I knew what it did for me. And I could share that with people that didn't necessarily want to be a racer, but they just want to be confident and they just wanted to have the skills to get out there and ride.
From a not just physical point of view, I feel like mountain biking gives me this huge connection to where I live. Where, I mean, how many other sports, if you think about a golfer, if you go to a golf course, like, I wish this course was different. Like, I didn't really like that hole. As a mountain biker, you can make a difference. To be able to just ride, build, and everything's just constantly improving, I feel like that's a really unique thing for a recreation, your choice of recreation to be able to shape how you actually do it. And then with the Duluth Traverse project and what it's been for Duluth, it's literally every time I live on the east side of town, I work on the west side of town, every time I'm cruising, I'm looking at the hills and I'm thinking about, I can't wait until we get that project approved because people are going to lose their mind. That rock is going to be so fun to ride down, or that view is going to be so great, and no one knows that trail exists yet because it doesn't. But in a year or two, it's going to exist, and they're going to be really excited about it. And to be able to partner with the city and partner with other user groups and partner with my friends with shovels in our hands, like actually making it happen, I feel like that's the thing that really just locked it in as part of who I am, not just a mountain biker, but as kind of a trail developer.
Again, just being really lucky in my life to have traveled a lot of places. One thing that my parents really taught me, and one thing I've expanded on, is that when I travel, I do something specifically, right? Like, if I'm gonna go, my son and wife and I went to Korea a couple years ago, and we went there, we specifically wanted to go mountain biking. And when we went mountain biking, what do? We went mountain biking with a bunch of other Korean riders. And we all speak that language, right? But one really great example of exactly what you said was when the All Mountain Brothers were here in town, there's a new trail that you have to go ride, you probably heard about it, but the new Tofty Trail up the North Shore, which is just another awesome ride. You got to do it, and so we decided to go up there and ride it. Well, we got maybe a quarter of the way into our ride, and the skies just, opened up. And not even like kind of raining, like torrential rain. We ended up riding for another 3 hours, and it was just like this epic ride. And it was an epic ride because he was just charging. Like, he was way better rider than I was. I was just trying to hang on. And at the same time, it was so technical because it was so slippery, and everything was just off camera, and you were just so in the moment, And I just remember thinking as we came down that trail, it's just like, at this point right now, the trail doesn't give a shit what I look like or who I am or what my race is. Like, it's all riding right now, and I totally agree with your point. Like, and I think that idea of using mountain biking as a way to connect people is really important and a really interesting thought, and one that I have been kind of banging around in my head for a while.
Diving in while the current's fast. Gotta leave the past, it's in the past. Yeah, I won't look back. Strike a match, watch the flames grow higher. We can burn much brighter if we don't look back. What does it take to leave it all behind? We'll see it happen one step at a time. Here we go. We're never slowing down, darling. Here we go. We'll get lost until we're found, darling. Here we go. Feel the blood rushing through my veins. Got some brand new wings. No, we won't go back. What does it take to make our dreams collide? The smallest change can make you feel alive.
Mountain bike communities come in all shapes and sizes, and in Duluth it's clear that when you have enough people willing to share their passion with as many others as possible, some truly surprising things are bound to happen.